So the architecture that we discussed, that there are three major components of Snowflake. So gonna tell me?
Storage, query processing, and then the cloud services. Cloud services.
Mhm. And can you quickly tell what all the things available in storage? Anyone?
Database.
What all the different stuff and storage available? Remember we discussed these
Oh,
types of,
disk storage. Okay, shared disk and shared nothing.
yeah. So this is what we have discussed. Let me just quickly discuss this, like how the worksheets are here. So Snowflake architecture, it's kind of a cloud-based architecture. And we discuss how this interface actually look like. And there is detailed. So, and then we discuss also the cloud server. Cloud server is kind of a mapping brain, you can say that, in which it's have a infrastructure manager, optimizer, data management server. So this is the complete structure we discussed. Then database we discuss, query processing layer, server layer. So then I discuss in detail about the virtual warehouses. So virtual warehouses are nothing but it's a queries that are executed using virtual warehouses, which are MPP in nature, that's having a compute cluster each warehouse. This is we discussed. So today we'll try to look around it, how this distributed system architecture work and how this shared architecture and network actually works. So how we can write a query on the top of it. We'll be looking into that. Also, I discussed yesterday how the query actually taken places, how this is being submitted, how the whole authentication actually happened. So yeah. Now, see if yeah. So now if you have to start writing your commands on this, so we need to go to the worksheets and you need to start writing this stuff. Okay, so like there are some worksheets are available. These are the all projects we have. Okay, so like there are some certain worksheets are there, and these worksheets, have some certain examples that we can actually write it up. So, like how to navigate the worksheets and how to start writing your projects that we can actually look around. So let's say here we have some certain queries and all, or even if you want to create your new worksheets, you can actually create your new worksheet. So you can query the data, create SQL worksheets. You can actually write it down to create a new worksheet, or you can here create from here also. So, these are the certain stuff that you can actually look around it. So here in projects, when you see the worksheets are available here, right? So in worksheets, when you are in worksheets, you can start writing the new worksheets here. Okay, you can create a SQL worksheets, and yeah, there is a Python worksheets available here. So you can write any of the worksheets and you can start creating your starting your SQL queries. So when I let's say started, oh, I created the So this is my, let's say, call a worksheet available right now. We are, like trying to create a SQL worksheet, right? So you can see that right now it is showing us that there are some certain databases that we have available. Like I have yesterday created a Dipesh database, or Snowflake have some certain example database available, right? Are you able to get this some example database with you here? Are you able to navigate?
Let's verify. Let's sign in.
Uh,
Yeah, we could see both Snowflake as well as sample data scheme.
okay. So yeah. So here, let's say if you wanted to select or start, if you are not selected any specific data set here or any example data sets here. So here you can do one thing, in that case, you can start writing and you can start writing or selecting the database and the schema as well as. So here in worksheets, what all the worksheets I've created will show me that thing. And this is the database it's going to show me. So here, let's say if I have any, like here is the worksheet that I'm working. Okay, this is the worksheet that I'm just going to create. If I wanted to rename, okay, I can rename this like my first worksheet, right? So it's going to be renamed accordingly, right? And if you don't have the databases available, you can actually write the some certain command. So for those who are not having any databases here or sample database, you can write like create. There are some certain APIs, some certain. Can I quickly everyone confirm if you are getting this example database? If not, then I will tell you what the command by which you're able to create it.
I got them.
All of you have. So generally it will be there, but few of you might have not. So if not, then do let me know. Okay, I will just look around it. So now, see here we are trying to print. Let's say if you wanted to do navigate any one of them. So let's say you are having from. Okay. So let's say you wanted to have this is the sample stuff and you wanted to print in this the specific, let's say call there are multiple schemas available here, right? So in these schemas their tables are also available, right? So in tables there are something. So if we are not selected the databases, right, if we are not selected the databases or you wanted to access the particular customer table, so you have to first select the uh, you know this particular data schema as well as, and then you need to go through. So if you wanted to access this, like uh, the customer one. So here you need to write like place name in the editor. So here, this way when I place name in the editor, here it will directly going to be copy the whole command for you, and then you can actually write it down over there. So you can show the view definition. So in this view definition, it will look around your the data, and when I mention here is you can see that select from Snowflake sample data customer, and as I mentioned it will be going to select the schema that is sample tps1 dot customer, right? So as I mentioned this, as I going to select, I wanted to run this. Okay, so here you can see that it will show me the data UI. Can you see that? And as of now, this is the account the admin is running the compute, the warehouse is the compute warehouse that is extra small. Hello?
Yes, Dipesh.
Yeah. So what I'm telling you, by default, it will run the compute warehouse in extra small. Okay,
Hmm.
that's admin. We will be creating the warehouse also, but I'm just telling you how the user interface actually look like, how you can start making a print of any SQL command over the Snowflake. So this is the process actually. Right. So now this is something you have done using like using this. But if I actually going to, you know, look around. Now, see, once we have done with that, now if I go to your home and you wanted to see like, if any recent command what I have done, so it will show you on the worksheet page over there in home section that this command we have run and it has given us a certain output. So you can see here, this going to show you in query details that this is the query duration. Okay, this is the customer, this is the name, this is the address that's available in the data. Okay, so visualization will show you. Okay, and you can even download the results. Okay, here you can download the results. Okay, you can select the column on the results. You can hide the stats. Okay, so these are the options you will get. Apart from that, there is a direct interface of visualization charts you will get. So it's saying that too many data points to generate chart, limit selection under 10K points. Okay. So if I limit, then it will show me some kind of a visualization over there. So we can do that, but let's see as of now. Now, if I actually select the database here, this is my database I selected, and this is my TPSHF1 selected. Okay. I selected this. So now once I selected this database, okay, now I don't have to write the whole. Okay. I don't have to write the whole. Instead of that, I can now directly use customers. Okay. I can directly use customers and, it will show me the results accordingly because now we don't have to go back again and again. I need to, like select the data set. Instead of that, we can write the particular compute. Here we have selected the compute already here. Okay, but there is one more thing I need to tell you. So in compute, we have multiple options run as a role. So we can define multiple roles. Okay, I will come on that part, how to define role, what are the different roles are available. So there is account admin, this is a default account admin, and there is the organizational admin, public, security admin, system admin, user admin. So in this, we can run this compute of data warehouse. So here you can see that once I did this here, now if I run the command for us, so here you can see that, and I'll run, so it will going to give me the output for the same. So yeah. So this is how we can actually select also. This is another way of doing it. So that is what about the process that I wanted to talk. That's called Snowflake data warehouse, running a command on their user interface. Okay, so that is a technique. Now, moving further, uh, you know, what is next is we will be going to talk about how to create your own warehouse. Okay, but meanwhile, have you checked this, all of you?
Sorry, Dipesh.
Have you checked using this interface? Please check, all of you, on Snowflake. Can anyone share your screen? I want to have a look if you are able to access it properly.
Able to. Okay. Were you able to see?
Um, correct. Um, hold on. So, okay, now, uh, You have taken up the data. You can select more columns and you can see access it.
Yeah, sure. I was just checking.
Good enough. Thank you. So now I will be going to talk about how to create a brand new data warehouse in your, Snowflake. Okay. But before I actually going to tell you how to create a brand new warehouse that is here in the warehouse. Okay. So here is the warehouse. If you see that there are few warehouse that has been created and that's created in the honor called account admin. You can see that there is some system streamlined notebook is also there, but there are some certain stuff that you need to aware of. But before I actually tell you, in the process of writing or creating a warehouse, you need to understand about the roles in Snowflake. Okay, so you can see that there are some certain roles available in Snowflake. Okay, you need to understand about these roles. Okay, so for this, let me just quickly tell you here. You want me to download and share this with you guys?
No, it's
Meanwhile,
blocked.
logged.
Yeah,
Why is it blocked? I have given the access of editor as well.
I'm able to
it's
see it.
able to say it.
Yeah.
Oh, Google Drive access is blocked.
Maybe in your system computer, you're not able to access
Hmm.
organization. And you
Yeah.
can access it into some other. Um, you can check this
We,
out. So I'll
will be
just check.
able to see it, but will not be able to download it.
But I given the editor access.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lookup policy, right? So Drive we don't have access to from here.
No worries. So maybe in your personal system, you can actually look into. So meanwhile, yeah. So before I actually tell you how to create warehouse, you need to know that different roles in Snowflake. Okay. So Snowflake comes with different roles management. Okay. What are the different roles in Snowflake? Basically, Snowflake, as I shown you here, there are account admin, sysadmin, security admin, user admin, public, organizational and admin, and some more advanced roles that is compute intensive role, customer defined role. So these are the different roles that are available inside the Snowflake. So Snowflake roles are used to define a set of permission basically that can be granted to user so that we can allow them to perform any specific action in that platform. Okay. And roles are basically hierarchical. Okay. Meaning that a role can, in this process can be inherit, can be given some privilege from other roles. Okay. So that what are the different roles available here as I have shown here in your this access. These are the certain roles. That is uh, account admin, organizational admin, public, security, system admin, and user admin. So here, let me write. So here, first of all, is the account admin. Okay. So when we talk about account admin has the highest level of administrative role in Snowflake. Okay. So let me write for you. Highest level of administrative role in Snowflake. Then this gives us a full access of to all Snowflake resource configuration. Okay, and we can manage all objects and perform any account related task. Account related tasks. Okay, such as managing the users, more roles, warehouses, and any other databases that we can also create it. Right. The next one is your, it's called this sysadmin. Sysadmin. So sysadmin is basically responsible for managing database schemas and tables. So when you are creating your databases and all, there you can actually look around to manage those stuff. So system admin is for responsible for managing database schemas and tables, right? Uh, sysadmin is also responsible to create and manage objects like warehouses, so you can create objects and manage objects like you can create warehouse. So if you have a permission of sysadmin, you can create warehouse. Okay, you can create databases as I already said. Okay, you can create tables. Okay, and load the data inside the tables. Okay, so within that account, you can actually create these are the certain thing in sysadmin, right? So that is what the capability of sysadmin. And typically, this sysadmin, it does not manage any user or roles. Okay, so this is something should be clear. This does not manage users or roles. Whereas account admin have all the access, it can manage anything. So if you have a access or if you're creating a warehouse using account admin, you can manage anything you wanted to do. This admin is primarily focused to manage the databases and all, right? So this is something you need to look around it. Okay, any questions? Okay.
So every account has only one admin, only one account admin.
Of course, when you're creating, you can give some more roles, you can assign some roles, you can define some roles. Okay. But these are the by default role you will get. That is account admin, sysadmin, user admin, public. These are the certain roles are already created in your Snowflake account. Okay. And you can create warehouses accordingly. You can define the roles when you are accessing this stuff or you are defining this stuff.
So
So
my
I'll
question
show.
is, can we assign multiple users to account admin?
Multiple users can be defined, yeah.
Okay.
Multi-account organization can be done there. Organizational admin, that is you are talking about. So we can when we define the organizational admin, right? So where we can manage organizational level resource in different accounts, so that the billing can be done. So for that enterprise level of when we take accordingly, it will show us. Yeah. So yeah, that is the sysadmin. And then there is a security admin. So there is an example of a security admin. So security admin focus on managing user access and security within the Snowflake. Access and security within Snowflake. Okay. Also, security admin manages the permission level stuff like it's manage the roles. You can define more roles, and you can grant privileges. You need to grant privileges, okay, to roles. So if you are defining a new role, you can grant privileges and you can create create or manage users. And it does not have any direct access to the data, but it can assign roles to do that. So let's say when you are creating a tables or when you're creating ingesting a table from some sources, so you need to use security admin to give the grant access to the database that we have defined to access the data. So that's something we need to look around it. So we does not have any direct access to data, but we can assign roles that works around it. So that is something the security admin will do that, right? So we have discussed account admin, sysadmin, security admin. Then there is a user admin access also. So it's nothing but it's a the user account that you are asking, right? So it's manage the user account, whatever the users are there. You can create, modify, drop user, if you have decided the roles. So we can actually define and create the roles. So when you are creating using user admins, you can define those rules. Okay, so it's manage user account only. Okay, so you can create, modify, or drop users, something. Yeah. And then the one we are talking that you're asking, let's say if you have a organizational work you are doing. Okay, so in when you have a multi-account in an organization, let's say your organization had taken the multi-accounts. So then there is an because if you can see that here you don't have this option. So there is no there is yeah there is so there is organizational admin because we have chosen this, I think, business suite or something like that. So when you have organizational admin, so and you have multiple accounts there. So in organizational admin, you can actually manage the multiple accounts. So okay, so what happened in organizational admin? It manages organization level resources across Snowflake accounts. Okay. And we can manage accounts, we can view organizational usage or billing details.
Then which is more powerful, org admin or account admin?
Admin is, not to, it's just managing the multiple accounts. It's not in terms of defining the roles, defining the databases. It is for the organizational user, what we say, sysadmin or sorry, account admin is primarily focused on the roles and the responsibilities that you are using in a certain account. Where organizational admin is just managing the billing details, or managing the accounts, the different accounts. So of course, when we talk about the hierarchy of access the data, organizational admin have the higher authority in terms of defining the uses of that particular role. So it's an organizational level resource. You can say that.
Org admin can do all the tasks performed by account admin.
The org admin is responsible for, org admin is just managing those accounts. Okay, so but org admin is not supposed to gonna create any, like your database creation or data warehouse creation. This is something org admin can't do because org admin is a kind of a authority people to the other or seeing the billings related stuff inside that.
Basically, they will make use of the existing accounts, but not they cannot create new ones. Account admin
Mhm.
can.
Yes, yes. So that is what the meaning. Then there are some certain other roles, responsibilities that can be defined. Let's say you are, you want it to be compute intensive role. Okay. So there later on, you can define those for ETL purpose. You wanted to define the role. So that's or customer defined role you wanted to have. So let's say if I talk about the customer defined roles, that's we create basically. Mm, you know, if your customers, so organizational often create custom roles. So we can create some custom roles. So custom roles that actually combines a specific privilege according to their internal structure. Example, let's say in your organization there is a ETL admin. ETL admin. Okay. So it's manage the data ingestion pipeline. So we can define some certain thing accordingly. So that is how the custom stuff can be created. Custom roles can be created. So this is something the different roles are available here. So we have account admin, sysadmin, security admin, user admin, organization admin. Now, when I will be going to create an powerful warehouse or anything, I need to understand like for what purpose I'm using what. Okay. So we'll be coming on that. If I'm audible.
You're audible now.
Mm. So yeah, I'm talking about let's create an admin account. So basically, when I show you here, this compute, the by default compute has been created in this account that is called, you know, your account admin. Okay, here. But if I have to create a brand new account, or if I have to create a brand new, like warehouse, if I select here the roles, so here, so what all the possible from where I can create the roles? What all the options I have? Hello?
Six options.
No, I'm just talking about which one can create a new warehouse.
Sysadmin.
Account admin can create also. This admin can create also. And So let me just show you. Let's say if I created a security admin. So here you can see I don't have any option to create a warehouse, right?
Mhm.
If I just selected an organizational admin, again I don't have any access to create a warehouse. I can only generate the systems that is available, multiple. I will have to look around it. If I will select you know, public, public again does not have this access. Okay. I just can see that some visualizations. So yeah, I mean that's what I'm trying to say you that if you have to create, you can have to look around a sysadmin or either the account admin, and that's how you will be able to create. So here I will be going to select, let's say call a sysadmin. Okay. So when I do a sysadmin, I will be able to create a warehouse. Okay. Now here, while I'm creating a warehouse, okay, here is my warehouse. Now, uh, here I can define my warehouse that they call first. That in all capitals, so it will be easy for. Okay, you can add a comment like this is related what, this is related what, so you can process and comment as well as. Then second, as I mentioned, here there is a, you can use that like the credit. So if I just select any one of that, it's saying 1 credit per hour, small 2 credit per hour, medium 4 credit per hour, large X large, 2X large, 3X large, right? So to understand this, the pricing of this one, there is a website that is from Snowflake, Snowflake. Let's see. Yeah, so you can see that this is in pricing option from here. So you can see that these are the certain, like standard is $2 per credit per USD. This is something like this. That is in US North Virginia in the standard one. Then it's in enterprise. It's a $3 something that we have. Okay. Then we have business critical. That's called this gets started here to $4 per credit USD in US Northeast Virginia, and then virtual private network. Then for this we need to talk to sales, and accordingly you can use that. So before this we can select the platform. So since we are working in AWS, we can select that. We are working in US East North Virginia. So here we have selected the US East North Virginia, and moving around, like as you mentioned, see, this is the $3 per credit it's showing us. But as I change the location, so let's say if I mention here UE Dublin, so you can see that the cost got changed to $3.90 cents per credit. Correct. So with the pricing, yesterday somebody have asked me that how we can check this. So accordingly,
Yeah.
different locations will show you the different pricing. So and also apart from that, the types of platforms. So you can see that the US to Azure and the GCP is even the cheaper. If you just select, so as far I know, GCP is the most cheaper one. So based on this, some calculations, you can actually look around the calculation of pricing.
Dipesh, yeah, actually, yeah, thanks for this. Actually, yesterday I asked this question, right? So,
Yeah.
these are the per credit pricing as per the like edition which we are choosing, right? Standard, enterprise, or business critical. So, my
Mhm.
question was more related to how the pricing will be calculated according to the query processing, right? So that when like if possible, we can discuss that later.
We'll look around it. I'll see if
Yeah.
any documentation and then I will try to give you some understanding.
Sure.
So that is something you can have a look. So let me just share this video and I want you to just have a quick look around this. If I'm audible, guys.
You're audible.
Yeah. So here I was talking about how to create this. And so here you can see I can use, I have taken up this. So we can choose the type here, like which one I want. Standard. So standard is the standard warehouse can be used for most workloads here. And this Snowpark optimized means Snowpark optimized warehouse offer a large memory and cache. They are often used for memory intensive operations. So we can use the standard one as of now. And you can see that if I go for advanced options, so in advanced options, I can use auto resume. So if I do auto resume, automatically resume the warehouse when a statement that requires a warehouse is submitted. Okay, so it will auto resume that. And auto suspend. Auto suspend means automatically suspend the warehouse if it is inactive for the specific period of time. So we can choose how much time after this activity should be suspended. Okay, this warehouse has to be suspended accordingly. So once we can choose that, it's just showing 5 minutes. You can define this process. Yeah. Now there is an option called multi-cluster warehouse. So multi-cluster warehouse is nothing but it's allow you to scale compute resources as query concurrency need changes. So if you wanted to look around it in the new file, so what is cluster warehouse? Basically, in the enterprise edition feature, multi-cluster warehouse by default a virtual warehouse that consists of a single cluster compute resource available. In single, it is available, but we can define executing queries as queries are submitted to a warehouse. The various warehouse allocate the resource to each query, and it's begin the executing the queries. Okay, if sufficient resources are not available to execute all queries submitted in the warehouse. So this is the documentation. I want you to just quickly read it. If you're reading this. So here you can see that this is the some certain information. Please read it, all of you.
So, Deepesh, I have a question here. When it comes to a cluster, and what is
Mhm.
the compute resource associated to that?
Yesterday we discussed this. This virtual warehouse have some certain associated cluster resources. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, means that because that is actually processing over there. The stuff is getting processed over there. Okay, so processing
Mhm.
happening here because of this virtual warehouses.
So, a virtual warehouse can have two servers, as in how do you quantify that? And that's what my question.
Like as you
So,
will select the number of nodes over there, like when you do
yeah.
extra small,
Uh,
small something that is associated over there. Yeah. So, here you can see that when I'm just selecting here, like I can select when the multi-cluster warehouse. So minimum cluster is one, okay, maximum cluster is two. The standard policy is this economy and this thing based on your requirement. So
Max
this is
can
a
be
multi,
10, right?
uh,
Dipesh? Maximum
what?
cluster Maximum clusters can be how much? 10, is it right?
Yeah, it is 10.
So basically, one question here.
Mhm.
So when we submit a query, right, and we have a warehouse which is, for example, extra small, right, and it is
Mhm.
having only one cluster, and if the like if it is not possible for that warehouse to properly allocate, like only one cluster is there, right? So queuing will happen, for example, there. So maybe 2 3 queries are fired at a time. Okay. So queuing
Mhm.
will happen, right? So how can we deal with that queuing basically? Because queuing will actually kill the time, right? It will degrade the performance.
See, basically, when you are selecting this maximum cluster, minimum cluster, the
Mhm.
scaling policies and all, so it is not in certain way that all will be getting utilized. Okay, it will be getting utilized basically based on automatic scaling process. So Snowflake can automatically scale the multi-cluster warehouse since you have defined that, since you have scaled up, since you have defined the process. Okay. Multi-cluster basically supports the multiple compute process. Okay, so
Right.
it is only when it's required to handle varying workloads. Okay, so that is what, and because of that, the performance of query increases.
Yeah. So here the link you shared, right? There they have stated with multi-cluster warehouses, Snowflake supports allocating either statically or dynamically additional clusters. Okay. So what does this mean exactly?
See, as far as this process of doing this, it's do a concurrency handling. Okay, so it's improve the concurrency by distributing queries across cluster by themselves.
Mhm.
Okay,
So we don't have to do anything manually
and
there, you are saying.
yeah, manually we can also do that. So
Mhm.
see, right now I'm just telling you by creating a warehouse, I'm just defining a warehouse from this user interface. But if you wanted to define a warehouse using writing a SQL command, you can also do that. Are you getting
No,
my
no,
point?
no. I'm not asking that. Sorry. Just a minute. Let me share my screen for a minute. Uh, I'm reading the same link actually, which you shared. That from that I'm
Okay.
asking the question. Is my screen visible?
Mhm.
See here, this point, right? With multi-cluster warehouses, Snowflake support allocating either statically or dynamically additional clusters to make a larger pool of compute resources available. So what does this actually mean? I don't.
This means so basically as your question is for queuing, what will happen for queuing. So when you have not multiple cluster, so let's say you have processed the queue of your any query, it has gone there and it is working. So someone is into queue, but when you have multi-cluster, queue minimization happen because it reduces the query queuing by expanding cluster resource during peak times. So whenever there is a peak times, it will reduce when will multi-cluster are there, availability is there. So it will reduce the query minimization.
Okay. So for example, if I say, for example, if I have a basically I have created some code which fires at a time 5 queries, for example, right? And
Mhm.
on Snowflake, right? And
Mhm.
then basically I have 2 clusters, minimum number of clusters is 2 and maximum is 5, for example. Okay.
Mhm.
Now each query is a big one and basically one cluster is needed by one query. Okay. So in that case, how it will work? Basically, it will start with 2 clusters and then it will like once it will see the queue, then it will spin up the other clusters, or it will from the
See,
starting only
let me
it
just
will
tell
do it.
you.
Mhm.
Yesterday, I have told you the process of how the whole query processing actually happens. But with the example of, let's say you have 5 queries and each requiring significant compute resources, and
Right,
you are using multi-cluster warehouse with
right,
maximum number of 5 cluster in
yeah.
Snowflake. So first of all, what will happen? It will initialize the query distribution. The first query would run cluster one. Okay.
Mhm.
The second query would run cluster two, and so on up to 5 clusters. So one query per cluster. Okay. Now let's suppose if the maximum cluster reached, since your maximum cluster limit is set to 5. as you mentioned. So all cluster are now fully utilized. So one query per cluster will be running here. If a new query arrive with all 5 clusters are busy, they will be queued until one of cluster completes a query. Got the point?
Yeah, no. So my question was like you are saying at a time 5 clusters will spun up, like the
Yeah,
maximum number.
correct.
It will not happen like it will first start 2 and then after it again it will see that there are 3 more queries which are queued and then it will start the other 3. It will not happen like that, you are saying, right? It will at a time start all the 5 clusters, which is the maximum number.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
I
You are
don't think
saying
so,
that, right?
Maitreya.
Yeah.
That is not right, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Means we have seen this scenario. That's why I was just trying to understand that how it will work because this is important point here, right? Statically or dynamically.
Yeah. So dynamically, as I said, like the 5 queries will be running at the time, and the another query will be in a queue, and auto scaling response, even though won't able to add more cluster because we have already set the limit 5. So, however,
Mhm.
each cluster can efficiently process the query and leveraging the parallel processing because it's a heavy computational load is there. You know. That's what, as per my understanding. And the mechanism is like every completed cluster, Snowflake will assign the next queued query. This is how things happen.
So, okay,
Okay.
Deepesh, is there a way to identify this maximum number of clusters? Is there a formula, or how do you arrive at this number, maximum cluster? Minimum can be still set to 1, and maximum can be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, or it can be 10. So, how do we identify that maximum cluster? Okay, is it something because of the data volume? There should be some parameter, right, based on which we
So
should be.
yeah, I mean, you need to analyze your query and ETL workload patterns are there, like how many queries or ETL process that you wanted to do. This is something you should have understanding. Means you need to understand the query complexity first of all. You need to understand the complexity of queries, like you have any large joins, aggregations, any heavy data transformations. So that
Hmm.
is something in your mind, and when we go a little more advanced, we do query profiling. Means query profiling is a Snowflake in Snowflake, it see how individual query performs and what are the resources they consume and their execution pattern. So, like it's on the monitoring of Snowflake, you can see these this stuff like what is the CPU uses of these things, memory and time spent on querying. So that is in monitor pages you would have see that. So Snowflake resource monitoring, you can check these things, or even the query history dashboard will give you this understanding. The Snowflake user interface have this query history dashboard, so that's something can be looked around it.
Okay.
And there is a way of you can write a SQL command before you do this. So there is a warehouse load history view section is there. I will see this example. So you can write that. Let's say you are writing a particular, you can write that what is your warehouse and how much the running and average queue load has been taken. Like my screen is there.
Deepesh,
So I'm
your
just
screen
telling
is
you,
not visible.
what you are saying, right? So here I'm not created anything as of now. So let's say, so I'm just not going to write here the whole command, just I'm telling you simply. So basically, if you wanted to understand how much time has been taken, so we'll be writing this in a certain way, like select start time, and sorry, start time, warehouse size, average running, queue load, load from you can use the warehouse history, wherever is your Snowflake account uses warehouse, where you can type the warehouse name and order by start time and description. So it will give you the whole idea. Like, so are you able to understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that will give you the whole description about your query. Okay, so you can actually write then your whatever your Snowflake account, will be there, and then so accordingly, which account you are accessing, either it's account admin or you to load history, whatever the compute resources you're using, and that's how it will give the whole understanding of this. So
So based
that is
on
how
that, we can decide like if
correct,
there are queries which are queued for
yeah.
longer time,
So
then we may have to increase the cluster.
correct. So monitor and adjust. Okay.
Okay.
So something like this. So I was telling you how to write a query. Yeah, so I think this is clear. Just sum up what we have discussed, since you are saying any formula. So formula is something here you can think like this way. You can put a formula like this. So let's say you have, uh, you can say that the maximum cluster required is nothing but the queries you are performing into the timeline it is taking, and the cluster capacity currently you have. Okay, so that is could be your formula.
So there are few queries which are in the queue. Like say, should we really consider increasing the cluster size? That's because there are some complex queries which are frequently uh, present under the queue. Or else, okay, should we also think or analyze like how much time it is spent in the queue, and if it is really negligible time, we should ignore it. Uh, is it something
You need to
based on
check the
that?
concurrent queries at the peak load. Are you getting my point? So you should
Mm.
not take all the queries. You should not take all the queries. Rather, you should have a heuristic approach where you need to check the concurrent queries at the peak load, average compute per query of that, and the cluster capacity you have currently. Based on that, you need to decide that how many stuff has you required. So the
Mm.
concurrent queries, let's say call you have 20, okay? And if each query typically consume the equivalent of 25% of a cluster capacity, okay? So like an example, uh, if I have to tell you that you have 20 concurrent queries, okay, and these 20 concurrent queries are taking approximately 25% of the equivalent of cluster capacity. Okay, so these are taking the 25% of your cluster capacity. So you can say 20 multiplied by 0.25, and the maximum number of capacity, the maximum number of cluster estimated currently you have is one, let's say call. Okay, so how many maximum cluster you required as of now is 20 by something by
By 4, 5.
5, 5.
Mm.
So you required 5, like 5 cluster as of now.
Okay.
Got it?
Is this a formula? Like, is there any link where we can read about this? Uh,
I will have to check around it. This is the approach that I have taken. I used to work around it. That's what I'm telling you. But let me just quickly search for you.
Maitreya, there is that warehouse multi-cluster concept is there, right? There we
Right.
have in that documentation itself down you have, there is something called a
Here it
scaling
is.
policy and auto scaling policy, both are there. I'll just share that link in the group chat.
Okay,
So
sure. This one?
basically,
Here it is, right? Maximize
yeah, if you come down still, there is something called a scaling policy. For the question, Maitra, you asked, like,
Mhm.
what is statically and dynamically, right? So
Mhm.
in Snowflake, there is a concept of minimum max clusters and maximum clusters, okay?
Here
So
you can see
every
that
time you run a
even if
query,
you
it
can,
actually gets it. That's what.
even the warehouse scaling policies can be defined here, right?
Exactly. So when
Maximum
you
number
set
of
it on economy, it will not spin up a new cluster until the old cluster is completely utilized. But if you set it on normal scaling, the moment it shoots up to 80% or above 60%, it starts spinning up a new cluster. So that way you have a control policy over there. And
Got
even
it.
when you set it up as 5 clusters or 7 clusters, right? When you initiate a query, it will not shoot up all the clusters. It will only utilize for that based on the amount of data that needs to get from the database. It will shoot up that 1 cluster or 2 cluster. The moment it sees that internally the RAM is increasing for the amount of data that we are getting, it by default shoots up another. So based on
Yeah.
the policy that you have set.
So basically, it is controlled by scaling policy. You are saying ultimately.
Exactly. So it is controlled by
Sure.
scaling policy and the number of clusters you have given as a multi-cluster set.
Right. Right.
Because you have to set that minimum and maximum number
Yeah. Min
initially
max.
itself.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
I
No,
want you
but
to read this. I have given the link here. I want everyone to read this. Take your 5 minutes time, all of you, and just read it thoroughly so that we
so
will.
also, so
Yeah.
Vasu, that maximum number is something we have to decide, right? As in what it should be,
Yes,
or
for
or
example, I think in Snowflake they give maximum of 10 or 15 or something like that, like for a normal enterprise accounts, right?
Yes.
So
10. Yeah.
10.
I think it will set
10,
to
it
10.
is 10.
Yeah. So
I mean
again,
that. Uh,
that again you have to set because now when you set it as 10, it is actually X small 10 clusters, right? Because initially you choose the cluster to be X small. Now you change the increase the capacity and then you have to set. So it's like error and trial method. You don't have a very fixed like, can I set it for 5? Then we see the performance. Okay, I'm saying that it is all the 5 clusters are getting utilized. Okay, then we go alter the warehouse to use a maximum number so that the auto scaling can increase a little more.
yeah, that's what Dipesh was telling. We need to analyze that query history, monitor, and identify the complex queries or the time the queries are spent in the queue.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, can you all please invest your 5 minutes just to read the documentation and then I'll move further. Okay, I believe you might have gone through. So I was telling this. My screen visible, right?
Yes.
This admin warehouse.
Before moving forward, Deepesh, just one question here. So the size, right, X small or whatever size we are choosing, it is solely dependent on the volume, or are there any other factors to be considered?
Means,
You are choosing a size, right?
yeah. This
So
is
it
a
is,
cluster. This is a cluster that yesterday we discussed this in thoroughly detail, right? So in access small, there is one. In small there are two. In medium there are four. So that is when this has to the warehouse. When we say access small, warehouse is the smallest compute size. It's a compute size, so it offers least amount of CPU memory. Okay, and for testing light query load you have. So that is the load, the compute size of this.
okay, it's only on the compute size.
Yeah. Like when you do EC, EMR, EC2 chooses you do. So X small, relatively have, compute power that is smaller in version. So that is their like, the choose of the what kind of computation you're using. When you don't have bigger workloads, then you can use X small. Yeah. So here, go to advanced options. Multi-cluster warehouse. I have chosen one, then two. Here as mentioned. So you can see that. Then query acceleration. Query acceleration, you can increase the query faster, accelerate outlier queries with additional flexible compute resources. So here also again, while you're choosing query, okay, so here you can see that the query acceleration, it accelerate queries with additional flexible compute resources. So that is there, you can see this, its X8 has been chosen up. So it's a scale factor. You can increase and decrease the external compute. So it's a query acceleration will happen. That's we can choose out from here, query acceleration.
Query acceleration exactly means how does it work?
So here is the documentation again. So to understand how does it work. So when you open this query acceleration, basically the query acceleration QoS can accelerate part of your query workload in a warehouse. When it is unable for a warehouse, it can improve overall warehouse performance by reducing the impact of outlier queries, which are queries that use more resources than the typical query. So the query acceleration service does this by offloading portion of the query processing work to shared compute resources that are provided by the services. Okay, so you can ask me question, but before this, please read this documentation.
So Deepesh, when you say workload, based on the workload, we can decide on the warehouse size. So the workloads can be of your ETL jobs. So for that, we can set up a separate warehouse, and specifically for the reporting purpose, that can be a different warehouse. So based on those workloads and the queries which gets generated back from the reports. So for that, we can have a separate warehouses created, right?
Correct, correct, correct. We can create multiple warehouses, and for what you are using, we can do parallel, processing at the same time. So that something can be done. Yeah. Moving further, this query acceleration, as I mentioned, this is not supposed to gonna charge you extra when you use it. This is nothing but it's a query acceleration in Snowflake, help speed up the query execution by allocating additional compute resources. Okay, and it's dynamically for computers will dynamically use resource intensive queries, and it will minimize the increase the performance by workload requiring any manual adjust the warehouse size or infrastructure. There it can be utilized. So um, it's dynamically compute the allocation, it's do parallel query execution, it's do workload based acceleration. So these are certain feature of this.
Did not get the scale factor. How will it help, or how
So
should this be, increased or decreased?
so like when you increasing or decreasing the scale factor, it's parameter that determining the size of the query acceleration you wanted to do. Okay, so it's the capacity of like when you're doing increasing or decreasing, the query acceleration will be more faster or decrease accordingly.
Compute resources. So when it says that accelerate outlier queries with additional flexible compute resources, so these compute resources are not the ones which we configured. Is it something different compute resource specifically for QAS?
So it dynamically you're adjusting, like the scale factor X14. So what is happening? It's the measure of how much additional compute you require. So it can go up to, you know,
No,
uh,
but it is not that compute resource which we have configured, as in we have selected. Is it a different compute resources specifically for QAS services?
for QS, yeah.
Okay.
So that's the additional offered by this Snowflake.
This comes up with additional
In the
pricing.
no
No?
pricing. It's in
Okay.
the warehouse itself. But even here, it's no additional pricing is there for this. So you can use the guides, you can, if you wanted to check, there is some guides for this query acceleration services that I mentioned here. So uh, you can adjust the eligible queries. So in general, queries are eligible because they have portion of query plan that can run in parallel using QoS computers. These queries fall into one or two patterns: large scan with aggregation, selective filter, large scan that insert many new rows. So yeah, I mean, that is why.
Okay.
Yeah. So here we have these factors, query acceleration and all, and then that's how if you wanted to utilize this, you can use it. If you don't, it's okay, and we can actually create our resources. So without utilizing this, we have choose the standard here, and here we have choose standard and all, and we are creating a warehouse with this. So let's create a warehouse. Okay, I have just chosen a place, and let's create a warehouse. So you can see that the new warehouse is getting created. Yeah. So this new warehouse has been created. If you see that this is your new warehouse, and right now there is no query running as of now. Okay, if I go into the home section, okay, and this is my first worksheet. So here now I have created this query, and you can see that when I will be going to show you that like how I wanted to choose. So here is the account admin it was previously, but if I wanted to show you, so here right now the new warehouse has been came to me. That's called I have taken into the sysadmin. In which one I have created this new warehouse. Can you see that? So here the sysadmin access small. Got the point? Yeah. And if I have to use this, select from customer. This is the data with me. Got the point? So this is your warehouse that we have created. And even if you go here, you can see this is the first worksheet that has been created. And then monitoring, you can see that this is the stuff we have created. This took this much time. Okay. In this warehouse, this query has taken 21 minute. This is the query that as we have generated. The results are like this. This is the query profile that I was talking about. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
This is basically coming from cache, right?
Yeah.
This is coming from cache, right?
Yeah. So this is the query profiling. Please have a look. I want you to just quickly create a warehouse and write some queries, see the monitoring and all, just stuff over there. So and then the next thing I will be going to tell you. Okay, now we will be creating our data warehouse using SQL. Okay, so in this process, we will be going to like make a complete uh, here like I was on home, I was writing a query. So here itself we can start writing the queries regarding to how to start utilizing the capability of SQL directly. Okay. You want a break before that, or we are good? Hello.
Let's complete this and take a break.
Okay. So we will be going to create or replace. Okay. So basically, why I'm taking create or replace because see here I have taken the sysadmin. The role is this. If I choose any one of them, I cannot create it. So if I use public, I cannot write it. Okay, I cannot make a warehouse then. That's not possible. Public does not have access to warehouse. Please select a new warehouse. Fine. So here sysadmin is there. So here I can actually create this. So this admin is there, and then I can actually create a replace. So here you can see that now I'm able to do that. So create or replace warehouse. And the first one is new warehouse. Let me put into the second warehouse. And here some certain conditions we can mention. So before we create it, the conditions like we mentioned, like width, okay, warehouse, size, size will be x small, okay, and the cluster that we kept over there was something minimum cluster count, cluster count was 1, and the maximum cluster count is 3. And see, if you want that it should be, initially suspended, the cluster, you can also, put this. Means initially it should be suspended, that you can define, you know, so initially suspended, yeah. And there was an option over there to comment, right? So here I can also make sure that I can put a comment as well. As so here I can give the comment let's say call, I can give anything. This is second, yeah. So something you can create accordingly, and then we can actually run this. So here, when I supposed to gonna run this, you can see that
No, initially there is spelling mistake.
where
Initially, there's a typo.
I okay. Right. TI. Can you see that? The new warehouse we are able to create. We have a new warehouse and a second warehouse. Correct? Please create it.
Can extend the access to other users.
Mhm.
For example, we have this new warehouse 1 and second warehouse, right? So can we allow the access for other users on these warehouses?
Other users.
Yeah.
We can do that. Need to quickly check like how to do, but we can do that. You need to grant, I think, yeah. So we need to grant a permission, grant role, to username. So need to write down this way, grant the role and your name of the role. Let's say it is either it's a account admin or any specific. Okay, so that's something we need to write down. That's how I'll able to do that. We can give. But I'm not sure about the warehouse role. The database something that we do. I need to check about the warehouse access role using commands. I need to check about that.
Okay.
Meanwhile, you quickly create this. I will just let you know about this thing. Hmm? Yeah. So even the account admin have the permission. Just a second. Can you see that? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, even the ground, we have grant the permission to the account admin also. So that is what how we can do that. So now let's take a break and I'll be giving you an assignment after that to do. Please look for it. Thank you.
Let's take a minute, 12:30.
Yeah, you can see that we have created this and this is a warehouse. Yeah. So this is the warehouse auto suspend after 600 second standard policy. These are the information we have walk us go through around it. And like if I make changes here that uh this auto suspend is happening at 600 second. Like if I mention here that the auto suspend should happen after auto suspend should be at 300 delay. So you can see I'll get an auto suspend after 300 seconds. Policy has been changed. Good enough? Yeah. So this is information we have done. Now I wanted to, give you a small kind of okay, this is something. Have you created any warehouse as of now? Hello?
Is Dipesh?
You created warehouse using SQL
Yeah.
command?
Yes.
Yeah. And if you wanted to drop a warehouse, this second warehouse, you can see the data warehouse going to be dropped. So there's no warehouse selected as of now here. We have, done the drop the warehouse. Now, um, hmm. Now here, let's say you wanted to make changes here in anything, like if you want to make an alter into warehouse or you wanted to make any specific thing here. So let's say you wanted to make changes in terms of whether you wanted to increase the small or you want to increase the, because I have already like let me do that because that the warehouse is not there, it will be problem. So let me just quickly. Yeah, so it's created. Now let's suppose I wanted to make any changes here. I need to manage it. So I can do all the alter stuff like alter uh, alter warehouse, warehouse called second second warehouse set warehouse size we can increase or decrease. Let's say we have given a small, extra small, so you can actually make a change. So you can change all of this stuff, like you can make extra small or whatever you have make a changes, you can actually do that. So once you do this changes, you'll find out on your warehouse basically. You can also do make auto suspend stuff here, like instead of this, if I want that here to auto suspend auto suspend. Okay, so here like we previously we had 300, 600, we had changes, you can change it to anything. Okay, so these kind of a small alteration can be done here. So that's something can be taken out. So yeah, that is the alter we can do that in this. Yeah. Now this we have created this with us. Now if you wanted to transfer the ownership of warehouse, okay, that you can look around it. So here in this warehouse, let's have a look. This is the warehouse, right? Now you can drop, resume, edit, and transfer the ownership. Okay. If I talk about an edit, you can edit all this stuff from here as well as, okay. And you can resume, drop, transfer the ownership. You can transfer select the role from here, and you can also transfer the ownership from here. Any question? Understood?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something you can actually look around it. You can increase, decrease the cluster afterwards also. So that is there. Now, one more thing, like if you wanted to, we have discussed the scaling stuff, right? Scaling thing I have shown you, like how the scaling actually happening. So multi-clustering queue processing that I have told you, kind of like in a standard how things are happening. So uh, some I in multi-clustering, I told you this is the virtual warehouse sizes. Yesterday we discussed this. Cloud services, query processing, storage. So cloud services were managing the infrastructure. This is query processing, perform MMP, massive parallel processing. This is the virtual warehouses. Okay, extra small have one, small have two, medium have this one, and so on. It increases, keep increasing. Multi-clustering, I've told you, right? Multi-clustering, I've told you auto scaling. So in auto scaling, what is happening? Auto scaling when to start an additional cluster. Okay. So here, what's happening in policy when the scaling policy, how it is happening. So there are two scaling policies, standard and economy. So standard favors starting additional warehouse. Economy favors conserving credits rather than starting additional warehouses. Yeah. So in standard one, additional warehouses can be added, and this is the policy. Please read it. So standard policy, what happened? So in standard policy, it's prevent minimize queuing by favoring starting additional cluster over conserving credits. Cluster it start immediately when either a query is queued or the system detect that there are more queries than can be executed by currently available cluster. Cluster shutdown after 2 to 3 consecutive successful checks. It's performed at 1 minute interval which determine whether the load and the least load cluster could be distributed to other cluster. Economy conserve credits by favoring keep running cluster fully uh, you know loaded rather than starting additional cluster, right? The results may result in queries being queued taking longer to complete. And if we talk about their cluster time, cluster starts, it's only if the system estimates there enough query to load to keep the cluster busy at last 6 minutes. After 5 to 6 consecutive successful check, this is what meaning of this. Now we are done with that. We are just have gone through the policies of this. Now the process is when we are loading the data, okay, and we are exploring the tables, okay, and how we explore the tables, how we will define the tables here. That is quite important to understand. And we'll first look out there, and we'll try to we will quickly look around that. So here, you know, uh, in our worksheets, here's my projects worksheets are there, okay, and this is the datas, okay. So in datas, you can see that we have data here, okay, that is Snowflake certain data is here, and there is Snowflake sample. Just a second. Huh? Yeah. So I'm just telling you, like in this Snowflake, there are certain schemas are there. My screen visible? Hello,
Yeah,
hello.
Deepesh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So there are some certain schemas are there, and these schemas contains, like we'll see that these schemas contain these tables, right? So that is how the database is structured inside a Snowflake tool. Now, if you have to, like if I show you here any one of the table, this is the table, okay, and these are the columns that will show you, okay, and the data preview also will be going to show you, okay. So if I just for this, I need to select a warehouse. Let's say I selected a warehouse, and just Okay, let's set the default warehouse for this. These are the data that's been previewed here, right? Now, this is the data. Now let's create our own database, and I will be going to do this as an account admin. Okay, so here as an account admin, mm, account admin, I'm just supposed to gonna create a database. So here is the data with me, and I'm supposed to gonna create a database here. So in the database role, first of all, you know, I I can actually um, you know, like yeah. So um, like while defining your own database, okay, there are a few things we need to do. So first of all, we are creating a database. We need to define a schema. Okay. So, and then schemas, then we need to load data. So here, like I mentioned here, that's my first database. And you can mention recommend this my first database, right? And so here, once I created the database, yeah, can you see that? The database has been created. So this is my first database, but there is no purchase schemas. There's an information schema has been created. This is the database. So here is my database, and now moving further, um, you know, I will be going to create in this schema. These are the two schemas available here: public schema and information schema. And here in this is the detail of it, right? Now we will be creating the schema here in first database. So can you see that it is later on giving us to create the schema. But before even creating a schema, there is some access required. Uh, the access, some privilege required as a role. So we need to grant new privilege to do this. So here from and who give the privilege to do that? Hello? If you remember when I was telling you the roles, I have given you the idea. We can give this to who give the privilege?
Counting.
Huh? It's focus on managing user access and sourcing with Snowflake. Manage role, grant privilege to create and manage users. Do not give access to data, but can give assigned roles. Okay. So, um, we can either give by account admin, okay, because account admin have also all the things, or security admin. The security admin is actually going to give some certain policies. We can create some policies here. So here, what we wanted to do that and why I wanted to keep the privilege. So in privilege, want to give the schema to create certain schema. So here I will select a role that is security admin, as I mentioned over there. So security admin, then I can do a lot of privilege I can give, like add search optimization, apply budget, apply pipe, future schema, you know, create context search service, database role, the data set, future schema, something like that. So here multiple things you'll have. But now we want to create what schema. So here I am supposed to gonna, give this to create a schema. And here I selected the privilege. We can give the, privilege to create a schema. And, either I can give any user admin also to define the role and, can do something there. So here user admin to create a schema. Okay, this user admin, we can give this to a schema to create. So a user can actually create a schema that we can define. And that's how, if I wanted to grant a privilege, I can actually, like grant privilege. So you can see that I given the user admin to create a schema. Got the point? Even if you wanted to changes, you can update the privileges also, etc. Yeah. So now, once we given the privilege, we are supposed to gonna show you like here, if I just going to use an user admin. So in user admin, I have a privilege to create a schema. But if I do this for public, I cannot see any privileges here. So that is something we should look around it, and that's okay. And we're going to create a schema. Okay. So schema, we are going to define a schema here. That's called.
Can we create using user admin? It is account admin only, the page. User admin.
But user admin,
We have the access,
know,
right? We have given the
yeah,
access, right?
we are given the access. Yeah.
So just you need to change it from the down, right? It is account admin currently. What I'm saying is
But
account
account
admin.
admin also have access to.
Yeah.
create
Anyway,
schema.
it is just to check. I'm saying.
Okay.
Anyway, it will be able to see create account admin. That's why.
Yeah, just a second. Here itself, you can see that it's have
Right.
ownership from this, and you can create here. Okay. So here I'm just defining the schema. You can see your first schema here. Schema, create this. Can you see that the first schema has been created? This is the schema detail. This is the first database. And this is the schema of this. Yeah.
It's created using account admin only, right?
Yeah. Ownership.
Can you create a schema using user admin? I'm saying the
So
page.
so we created. You give privilege for the user admin to create a
Account admin
schema,
is
right?
being
Can
managed
you
by
use that?
the, yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, account admin has all access, so he'll be able to do it. But since you gave the privilege for user admin to create a schema, can we try that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
why not? I've shown you there. If you choose,
So can we try to create a schema?
you can try this. Anyways, just I'll show you.
User admin.
Can you see that? If I wish, I can
Create
create.
it. Yeah, please create one.
Content verification. which have insufficient privilege to see. I'll show you by count admin. First schema information schema. Just a second. Can you see that? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
So
So
basically,
it's
we just
creating,
Mhm.
it's creating, but the access of watching, look around what schemas has been created, can be seen by account admin.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I switch it to there. I believe you got the mark. So this is your first schema by count admin. Okay. And here you can see that now later on, if you wanted to upload some data inside this, like the table, okay, you wanted to read from a file standard as select external. So here from this in this schema, you can either stage the data, means I will be discussing this, stage the data from S3, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform. You can read the data, you can staging the data from any third source here. Any storage integration you can do directly from these platforms. Any file format you want to do, any sequential data, any stream data you wanted to access. Okay, so there is a snow pipe is also there. Snow pipe from this you wanted to read. Any task, any function, procedure, dynamic table, any GitHub repository you want to read data. So from these are the places you can actually read the data. Got the point? Hello. Means what we have done as of now, we have created a database. We created in that database an schema. After this schema, you need to get some table. Okay. So in this table, okay, the table process, you can read the data from multiple sources. You can read the data from any file, standard, you can any external one, and then you can, table, view, standardize, stage, file format, sequence, pipe, stream, task, function, procedure. These are the possible way to create inside this. Got the point? Yeah. So now let's say if I am just going to create a table. Okay. So let's say, like I am just trying to, like in this table, let's say we are willing to create this table like as a standard. Okay, so the as a standard, if I create a table, I can start writing like create table column one, column two, and I can start writing some certain commands inside this, and it will just going to create a stuff for me, right? I can define the table name, that's a call, first table. I can define some columns. Okay, and that column, next column, two column, three column, something I can define inside this, and then that's how I will able to create it. So like if I just going to show you here, like I'll be create table, that's it called first table. Okay, and inside this I defining the first column, that's integer. Okay, second column as a text. Okay, and this is good, and I can define, let me comment it, something I can comment is this our table, right? So once I do this one, can you see that? Table has been created, the first table inside this. Hello.
Which we're following.
So this is how we create a table. This is how we can create a table. This is the query has been processed, and the query, you can define this, and like we have shown here, and like if you wish, you can open into, you can just start working again inside this, and you can do the more query on the top of it. So like you can actually, can show you how the first table look like basically. Select from it's been created. These two as they have now, right? So there is no column has been produced because since there is no values has been produced inside this, but this will show here as of now, right? But later on we can upload the data inside this, and few more stuff can be done on the top of it. Understood? So please create a table, all of you, and try to insert some data inside that. All of you, please proceed that. And see, since there is a lot.
You muted yourself, Dipesh.
Sorry, it's got muted. I'm just saying, let's suppose, since if you are doing for the very first time, I'll suggest you take a screenshot of the process you are doing, like you are creating database, you're creating warehouse. So these are the way you can, it will be helpful for you. So make sure that, you're creating a documentation that how you are processing the very first table or something like that. It will helpful for you in the coming when you will be recording it again. So, yeah. Create a table, all of you, and try to insert some data inside that. I want you to create a table and you know create a table about um, called uh, a loan payment. Our first database could be, let me write here. Just create a table like let's say call loan payment. Okay. So loan payment could have something like loan ID, loan ID. You can have loan status, some more thing like principal, terms, due date, period of time, past due date, these kind of gender, email, something like that. Okay. And these are the certain information I want you to just quickly look around it. And accordingly, you try to, um, try to do something with some writing a database. I'll show you something else, but meanwhile, I just want you to look around some database and try to effectively uh, look into that. Okay, please do that. I want you to create a database and I want to create a table, something related to loan. Okay, you can generate this using, you can write a query. I will show you at how we can create. So let's say my screen visible, right?
Yeah.
We are ordering new database. What was the name? First DB, right? Let me rename this. Rename. We can rename it. We can rename anything. We can rename. I'm going to create a loan payment. So I'm just creating a new database name, which I call our first. Let me put in capital letter as well. Right. Then I'm just going to create a table here. So create table our first DB. So putting in public. And loan payment. Got it? So here I'm defining few columns that's called loan ID. Okay. Loan status. Effective date. Due date. Paid on time or not. Fine. Uh, Period of time past due date. Yeah. So this is something the data table we have created, right? So now moving further, once I created this table, now once we're able to create the table and we'll see all the stuff is with the string instead of this. Will try, can you write down? Created the table. The loan table payment successfully created. Our first database. Can you see that? We created this. This is the table in public. There's a table. That's for loan payment, right? Now, if I have to ingest the data, I can ingest the data. Have you ingested the data? Anything you have taken up? You created the data? Hello? Anyone tried importing or adding data? Become audible.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you tried anyone with the table to be ingested inside this?
Data to be ingested in the table.
Means anything you have created as a table, some columns, low tables inside the table. Have you created any role?
We just
So
inserted the data through insert
okay,
statement. Nothing
Yeah,
else.
we have inserted it.
okay. So here you can see I'm just showing you like we if I wanted to check right now, just let me show you this loan payment first of all here. So since we are using the database, just telling you if we are using from the scratch. Okay. So here like if the table is empty or not. So we are already using the data. So we select the first data bit for schema that we are selecting. So if I am just going to, like use the data set base, here I can select either, or I can select from the above. That is the first database or R schema. I can select like this is I'm using. So I can actually either select from this way, as I mentioned earlier. So here is and select from loan, loan payment. The loan payment or what? Loan payment. Why? And yeah, so there is nothing on this data. So you can see that. Now, if I wanted to copy into the loan payment, anything. So like there are some, data it's not producing any results. Like if I have to copy some sample data from Snowflake, so I'll be going to copy that here. I'll just show you. So I'm going to copy some data that is available. So here I'll show you. I'll be going to use some sample data set. So for that, mm, here you can see that. So I'll be going to use here the Snowflake sample schema, and that is Snowflake sample data, this one. So here, and I'll show you here, like um, in this we have checking data sets. There are some public data sets available related to loan. Look at the bucket. So I think it is buckets, no lakes with it. Oh, lake like S3. So here some of the uh, example buckets are there. that we can load into the public access because the data is there. Loan bucket Snowflake S3. There was sample data is there. So there we can, once we created that, then I can load the data like this. I can the path I can give. So it is a bucket Snowflake, something like this. Bucket Snowflake S3. Yeah, this one. This I'm telling you. So this is the data that is available for Snowflake. This is the Amazon S3 data pipeline, and you can actually access it. So this is the data. This data will try to copy inside. Uh, the- so we're using this only, and let's see. And I will be going to copy. So for that, here I will be going to copy into loan payment from S3 bucket Snowflake free loan payment loan payments data.csv. Okay, the file format type CSV, and CSV delimiter we need to mention. So field delimiter, and header. So it should read the header. So skip header one. So one, this, and here. Yeah. So let's see if it's working. Field delimiter. FIELD DELIMI. meter. Number of column file 11 does not match the corresponding table 10. 10. 10. Where I made mistake. It's saying that loan ID, loan status. So okay, let's create a one more 11, you know. So it should give me oh, okay. Okay, so we need to alter. One, two. Alter table. Where I'm making mistake.
For Dipesh, you can directly just create or replace, right? Just instead of create table, you can directly write create or replace. It will
Yeah,
create.
that's I can, or either I can add column also, no? Mm, should work, right? What's another? Create and replace we can do.
You're missing the table keyword.
The name I given to the table is
No, the table create or replace table should be the table keyword is missing.
create or replace table.
Yeah, table keyword is missing, and then
Yeah.
you can.
It is right then, right? Our first DB public loan. Yeah. Now let me check this. Correct. Can you see that? The data has been loaded. Let me check this. So now select validate this. Select from loan. Can you see that? Hello? They have ingested the data. Please try this. Let me share this.
Yeah, Dipesh, one question. Basically, like what we did here is we created the table and then basically we copied the data from S3, right, to this table.
Yeah.
So is it possible somehow like if I don't have any table, right, I will just use whatever headers which are present in that CSV file and then on the fly create a table and insert the data.
What one?
Like ad hocly, can I create a table and insert data?
Already created a table and then
No. So basically here we created the table first, right, using create statement, and then we inserted the data from S3, right?
yeah.
So
So that
what I'm
S3
asking,
data complies this thing only. These are the certain thing that's already aware of. That's all taken of that way.
yeah, so my question is, can we directly create the table on the fly without explicitly creating it while inserting the data? Like basically, first we'll create, like based on the CSV, I'm asking.
Mhm. Based on the CSV. Yeah. Okay. Please quickly ask one your question. Take off.
So yeah, we have a CSV, right? Loan payments data dot CSV, right?
Mhm.
And in that loan payments data CSV, we have all the headers and the respective rows records, right?
Correct.
So instead of explicitly creating a table first and then inserting the data, can we just directly create the table on the fly and insert the data? And we can just use we can just uh, use maybe whatever Snowflake feels compatible, those data types based on the CSV basically.
No, because until unless there is no because it's a data warehouse, right? You are talking like the data frame that we print over there in Python or
Right.
in PySpark. Right? We are making a data warehouse in Snowflake. So there should be a proper structured, place where you are ingesting that data. Even if you're reading it Python, you need to create a table where you'll be reading the data. There should be set of a schema, or either directly you're reading the data. Then again, you need to store somewhere that data. Otherwise, it will just read that data.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, please look around it, all of you. That is what till today we need to discuss loading the data. Now you all can check. There are some open understand the roles of our different roles and responsibilities in Snowflake. What are the different types of roles managements are there? We discuss also a bit of how to understand how many cluster size we required. Okay, and the cluster size understanding, we got to know the concurrent clusters that are running on a very higher scale and the timeline they are taking, the amount of percentage they are utilizing on which cluster. That is how we got to know how many clusters is required. Okay. And we discuss user admin, organization admin, customer admin, security admin, system admin, accounts admin, right? We discuss about how to create a data warehouse using SQL also, how to assign role, how to delete, how to alter, how to drop, how to create schemas, how to create schemas in public, how to access using account admin. Then we discuss how to schemas, how to add data, how to create tables, how to load data. That's all we are understanding. That is the idea for today. Now the coming days, like coming session, I will be going to discuss more on how to loading data from different other sources, also how you can transform data, additional transformation techniques. Okay, how you can what are the different monitor process, how you can monitor the data, resource monitor, that we can discuss. Then how we can you know file format objects we can discuss. Then copy, different other copy options, how to limit the sizes, how to tourniquet the columns, what is the different performance optimization technique. So these are something that is there. Then time travel, snow pipe, that is something that is supposed to discuss, yeah. And there are a few more things, best practices and all. It is the idea. The question in the today's session, please ask me. And make sure, see, one thing you need to make sure, whatever we are doing now, I want to see documentation from of you guys, like what you are doing. There should be a documentation. Like I have shown you in my sessions, I actually, my, students do this thing called, they create a complete, you know, this is how, my students used to keep their screenshots, what they are doing, how they are doing, everything they keep it like this way.